Hello, friends and colleagues. Welcome back to the Catalyst podcast. I am Ricardo Ferraris, along here with my business partner, Vivek Uchibotla, and we have an interesting topic to discuss about with a little twist. Vivek, how are you this afternoon?
Good afternoon. Everything is good. And I'm looking forward to doing something new here, trying something new with this podcast. We've done what, 40, 41, 40 podcasts?
This is our 45th,
And
our 45th podcast.
this is our 45th podcast. So in 44 podcasts, we've played it straight and we've tried to be very serious and upfront about a serious matter like agency search. And now we're going to have some fun. It's still a serious matter, but we're going to approach it differently.
Okay. So one of the things that we've talked about is actually one of the things that Vivek and I do as a business. We help advertisers and CMOs find the right agency to partner with to grow their business. And, it's obviously a very serious venture because there is a lot of investment involved and obviously objectives and careers and so forth. But we thought we'd take a bit of a twist on this conversation with some funny reasons as to why advertisers should use a consultant firm to find and go through a search selection of their new agency. What do you think, Vivek? I think that there's some fun
Today,
stuff to
I
talk about.
we're going to take inspiration from the advertising on the Super Bowl, where they try to wrap a message in a humorous packaging to get attention. So that's what we're going to try here.
All right. Well, I'll start with
Okay,
the first one. I'll start with the first point. We got 5 points to cover, right?
we got 5 points to cover. Yes, we do.
Okay. All right. How about avoiding the dating disaster in the advertising world, the Tinder process of searching an agency?
That's what you want to avoid, right?
We want to avoid that.
Okay, I've been married now for many, many decades, but I'm going to try to ad-lib my way through this. So, finding the right agency is like dating, and you think you might have found the one, and then you sign the papers and everything, and oh my God, what have I gotten myself into? The perfect agency turns into a perfect nightmare.
They ghost you, especially when the results are due.
They ghost you. The loving feeling is gone, and now it's just pure venom and aggression and tension and nastiness. It's
They,
not good.
they sold you a motorcycle without an engine, as they say in Spain. Una moto sin motor.
Yeah, and the interesting thing here is that if this ever happens to you, you will not only be heartbroken, but you'll be budget broken, which I think is a wonderful, wonderful way of describing the huge waste of money that you've just incurred.
Right. So the smart thing to do, hey, consider hiring a search firm like us. There's others in the market as well. And, we're like a matchmaking service, but only for marketing and advertising services. So there you go.
Avoid dating disasters.
Avoid dating disaster. All right, Vivek, you want to take the second?
Okay. Yeah, yeah. So here's the second reason to hire an agency search firm, because you have better things to do, like actually running your business. You really don't want to spend your life sifting through uh, endless, and I mean endless, endless, long pitch decks and having to decode buzzwords like synergistic omni-channel engagement. And most importantly, you don't have to pretend that you understand what media is all about, because no one understands that stuff. So you just don't have to worry about it. You can carry on running your own business and let us do the hard work.
funny how credentials, there's tons of smoke and mirrors in the credentials, but it's really not your job. A CMO is should be running the functions of a CMO for a company and allowing someone who's expert and who has knowledge and who has benchmarks help them out in the process, you know? And it's funny how disaster looms as when you're not doing what you are not good at doing. So when you're doing what you're not good at doing, and when you're not allowing someone else to help you out there. So
So let the pros do what the pros do, and you do what you do best.
right, right. Honestly, and in Mexico they say zapatero a tu zapato. So, that means, do what you're exactly, do what you know what you do what you know how to do and leave to experts, to the other experts, what they're good at doing. Anyways, point number three. I want to go on to point number three. Save yourself from the used car salesman pitch. And what do we mean by that? Right? Well, every agency is going to tell you that they're the best until you sign the contract. And then suddenly, what happens, Vivek?
All of the senior people that were there in the pitch just vanish.
They're gone.
Uh, like magic. And all of a sudden you're dealing with a 23-year-old who is just out of school and just learned how to do Photoshop yesterday. So, um, the one of the big values of agency search firms is their ability to actually separate the people who know what they're doing from the glorified PowerPoint warriors. And there's a lot of PowerPoint warriors. And it would be most advertisers would be surprised to know how much agencies actually spend getting the PowerPoint to look really great. So
I've worked with Vivek for 23 years. And from the first time I ever met him, he's always told me, make it short, talk it through. You don't need long slides, big slides. You know what you're talking about. You need probably 10, 15 slides to tell your story, period. When you look at a 60, 70 slide deck, you see and you know that your client is going to glaze over um, and not be really connected. Anyways,
it doesn't speak well of an agency when they need 60 or 100 slides to tell a story.
right.
It reeks of baffle them with bullshit.
And as a CMO, do you have time to do that? Do you really have
Yeah.
that time to see 5, 60, 70-page slide presentations? We can help you through that.
And by the way, multiply that by the five agencies that you're going to be seeing. So we're talking about maybe 500 slides you're going to
Oh,
be subjected to. So yeah,
I
it's a
said
bad thing.
5, 6 presentations that are like 60, 70 slides each. Imagine.
It
Deadly,
hurts just to speak
deadly,
about it.
deadly.
Cool. All right, here's another reason. No more trial and error. And here the emphasis is on error. So just imagine choosing an agency is like choosing a restaurant without using Yelp. You might you might look into something good, but you also might get food poisoning. So, uh, you know, an agency search firm, a good agency search firm will protect you from potential the advertising equivalent of food poisoning.
Just imagine the time, and not just the time, the money. You get the wrong agency. You develop programs, you put them on air, you spend millions behind them, they don't work. Disaster. That's a ticket to getting fired.
Yep.
Jesus. Anyways,
That's a good point. I just want to say one thing. I mean, you can always fire the agency, but with every agency that you fire, you're one step closer to getting
oh,
fired. You
terrible,
can do it twice. The third time, you're out the door. So,
terrible.
got to think of that.
Hey, fifth point here, and you and I talk about, you know, what is the right fit, right? But if you're not careful, best fit, when agencies talk to you about best fit, it could be just, it's more than just a buzzword, right? Um, we're not just talking about creative. We're talking about something that's more complete, right? The culture, the strategy, who the team is. Do they get your vision? Is it, do you feel comfortable with them? And so I think here, you know, is where a consultant can help you, put you in a position where you can really see some really terrific agencies, because there are terrific agencies out there. It's just a matter of, finding that right fit, right?
Well, part of the agency's pitch is to convince you that there's a fit, even if there isn't a fit.
Right.
So part of our job is to say, hey, you know what? Even though they're saying one thing, it might not be that way, and here's why. So we are there to make sure to look at things from the advertiser's point of view and make sure that beyond what the agency's saying, there is a real fit. Otherwise, you can end up with anything. And we keep on hearing about the solution to everything being just a new campaign on TikTok. Um, it happens a lot, and that's not a sign of a good fit.
That's not the right brief. The right brief is not, I need a campaign on TikTok or I need a poster. Tell me about your business. Tell me about your problem. Tell me about what you are facing, where are your barriers. And then we'll see how the agency attacks that. So, there you go.
Absolutely.
You want to summarize here, Vivek?
Yeah, so here goes. You want to avoid a dating disaster in the advertising world. You want to have time to do things that you really do well, like running your business. You want to skip the used car salesman pitch. You want to avoid trial and error, particularly the error aspect of it. And you want to make sure that fit is more than just a buzzword, more than something that everyone is telling you that exists. So those are the five reasons that we think you should consider using an agency search firm. We've tried to keep it light. We've tried to make it humorous, but this is actually a deadly serious business that we're talking about.
Yeah, look, skip your stress, skip this, save your sanity, seek some help, seek some support, and in the analogy of the Tinder app, because finding the right agency shouldn't feel like you're swiping left on an endless stream of bad options, huh?
By the way, I'll take your word on that whole swiping left thing because I've never done it, but
I never, I know a
yeah.
few people who've done it, and it's awful. It's awful when you're swiping left. It's awful. Anyways,
We
you don't
both
want,
watched other people do it.
seriously, you don't want to get stuck with the bad options. You want to have really good options in front of you when you do an agency selection. When it becomes hard, when it becomes much more challenging and difficult because you've got some great options, that's when it's really worth it. So,
Those are the problems you want to have. First world problems.
all right. Well, everyone, thanks again for joining us today, Vivek. Very funny, very interesting, but also very serious. We are Think Catalyst. We are a consultancy that helps advertising, marketing, media professionals. Vivek and I have been in this business all of our lives, and we're now helping out the entire industry as much as possible with a number of our services, which include agency search, talent search, and some relationship management relationship programs. So thanks for joining us today. Hope you had fun here in this podcast, and we'll see you soon. Vivek, thanks again.
Take care. Talk to you soon.